Welcome to episode 65 of the GrowCast show. I'm your host, Lisa Marie, and I'm here today with Andrew Phee, who is an award-winning realtor at ERA with 15 years of experience. Welcome to the show, Andrew.
Thank you, Lisa. I'm happy to be here. Happy to be on the show.
So, Andrew, what does being better than normal mean to you?
I would say better than normal is doing things out of the standard way, exceeding the normal standard that everybody accepts. So first, if I want to do something, I will ask myself, how can I be outstanding in this industry or outstanding in this business? And if it's a service, can I do it faster? If it's knowledge or skill, can I be more thorough than others who can do it? So importantly, this better than normal, it has to be worth of value to other people. And because if you're in an industry that speed is not important, then being fast doesn't really help, right? So we really have to understand the market, understand our competitors and also ourselves, what we can do better that will be of value to our clients.
What makes you better than normal?
So for me, I focus on my business on two things. First is what value I can give to you, and the other one is really operating on honesty. So whenever I have a new client, my thought process is not about how much commission I can make from you, but what value I can add to you in this deal. So be it skills, research, negotiation, knowledge. I want to have what I have be able to give value to you so that you'll be able to make a better decision in any property purchase or sale. And it must be better than if you chose another agent. And of course, all this is backed by honesty. If there's really something that I feel that the client shouldn't go ahead with, shouldn't buy or sell, then I would gladly recommend not to go ahead because I rather not make that commission than the client suffer any consequences. So I won't say I'm better than normal, but I think I operate differently than normal.
Okay. How did you come into real estate 15 years ago?
So if I look back at 15 years ago, I would never ever dream of being an agent or even doing sales. So I studied computer science in Australia. Then I had to go on to take a job that's related to it. So I came back to Singapore. I did IT project management for 3 years, but I felt it wasn't really for me. So after 3 years, I needed a change. And what got me thinking is that I like to help others in their IT problems. So it kind of dwelled down to customer service and really helping other people. Yeah. At the same time, my then girlfriend, who's now my wife, she asked me to go to this success seminar in ERA. At that time, I didn't really want to because didn't have a good impression of agents at the time. In 2009, it was still like a cowboy town. You just need to sign up. The next day, you can sell and transact, even without knowledge. So there weren't many restrictions at that time. But that night, I got convinced that maybe this is where I can add value to others with integrity. And also as a young boy, I realized that I like to look at properties. I like to understand locations and also the values of real estate in Singapore. So that kind of ignited a new passion to serve people with property. And it started from there and I never looked back.
Thank you for sharing. What do you think are the 3 qualities one has to possess in order to be a successful realtor?
Okay, this is going to be a little bit long.
No worries.
So the 3 qualities that I feel that we need to have is discipline, consistency, and self-awareness. So discipline to me is about doing the right things, even though you don't feel like doing or it's not your kind of normal behavior. So it's the one that helps us kickstart good practices, good habits, or start the difficult prospecting methods. You know, in our industry, road shows, cold calling, door knocking, all this is very, very important. And some of us just don't feel like doing it. But because it's a proven system, then in our business, we still have to do it. Then consistency adds on to discipline because you can start. But if you don't continue and you don't keep doing over and over again, then you cannot finish the task or you cannot go long, right? So sometimes we don't see the immediate results and then we have to just keep trying and trying. The key is to keep improving consistently and then over time we will see the fruits of our labor because planting seeds is like you need to plant the seed first and then you'll slowly see it become a fruitful tree. So the last one is self-awareness. This is actually the most important to me because when we come into the business, we might not be a born salesperson. We might not be a born team leader or a people person per se. So there are many things that a successful realtor needs to change, needs to improve. It could be empathy, it could be sales skills, it could be people relations, or even how to be less self-centered. So self-awareness must be high, and that's where we know our weakness so that we can change, we can improve, we can get better. So, for example, if we look in the mirror, then if we see dirt on our face, we definitely want to wipe it off, right? So self-awareness is something like a mirror where we get feedback from our friends, our clients, our leaders, our mentors, and then it's a mirror giving us feedback and reflection. So we need to acknowledge it, and the discipline will kick in to change what we don't feel like doing. And because it's not our normal behavior, but with consistency, then our personality will improve, our character will be better, and our sales skills also will be better, and overall our business will be better.
I think the three qualities you just mentioned, they can carry through to be a successful person in any area and any industry.
Yeah, you can be a better person all around.
Yes.
Any other.
So why is the turnover rate very high in this industry?
I believe the main consideration for coming to the industry is usually earning a lot of money. So if the focus of being an agent is just to close many deals or just for the sake of money, then I feel it's not going to be very sustainable, because basically this business at the start, we will face a lot of rejection, and it can be up to 90-95% rejection rate. So even now in this business for so long, you actually kind of work for free until a deal is closed. So many will feel, there's a lot of effort, there's a lot of legwork, there's a lot of research, there's negotiation between different parties. You have to handle human emotions and just to close a deal. And not just one deal, but you have to do it at least 20-30 deals a year to make a meaningful income. Yeah, so many will suffer some burnout in the first couple of years. Another thing is also that there's a lack of money management, because if you're new to this business, you come here and if you earn that commission, actually that commission is not all for us to spend. We need to know how to set aside some for savings, some for business investment, how to put that cost into a day-to-day expense, and so we need to have that discipline to set aside savings and for business investment. So some agents, they can blow the tens of thousands into nice cars, nice watches, a nice lifestyle, and some of them maybe do it too early. So when the market is slow, then they will feel dry, and then they feel, I think I need to go back to a full-time job so that I can have consistent income. So why I know this, because for the first few years, I also got caught into this trap. Yeah. So, but till now, I think I've already enjoyed this industry for 15 years because I really love to see houses. I like to find out more about the real estate story in Singapore and then match that with my clients who are sellers and buyers. And then we need to be wise about the money that we earn, know how to put them in the right places, and especially for our business, know where to invest them wisely, because what we are in is in property. So the best place to put our money where our mouth is in property. So we need to have the passion in anything and everything about property, and we need to love helping people. And lastly is to take breaks to cool off, to relax, because we are in a business that's really, really high pressured and highly stressful. So with that, then you can last in this business for a long time.
How has your upbringing shaped the values in your business?
So I grew up in a Christian family. My parents are working. My dad is a pastor of a church, and he still is. He's a Bible lecturer as well. My mom was an English teacher for more than 20 years. And I think these jobs don't really pay very high salaries. So for me, when I watch them, I see them work very, very hard day in, day out. They hardly take leave or they hardly take MC. And that's the work ethic that I witness. And it's really just helping and teaching other people that drives them. So this has been passed down to me and my sister. We serve in church, we serve in the communities that we are in, and it's down to the work that we do also. So I always believe in doing my best, and it's not just driven by the commission, but really caring for my clients and doing what is right. Because when you see them with a new home and with their portfolios have grown, then this gives satisfaction to my job.
If you could rewind time and go back to your early self when you just started real estate 15 years ago, what would you do differently?
Actually, I realized everything that has happened is part of the journey till today. But if I would need to give advice to my 26-year-old self, it's just be brave, be courageous, don't doubt your abilities, and trust God in the whole journey forward. You will meet a lot of people, and many are good, some are bad. So learn from the good, learn not to be the bad ones, and always be grateful and thankful to everybody that has helped. And cherish every client and every referral that you've been given, because they are the lifeblood of our business. And lastly, of course, in property, buy as big property as you can afford with a little bit of stretch, because the property value will grow faster than you think or you can imagine. And this is forced savings to you, so don't anyhow spend on worthless or nonsensical stuff.
What is the biggest misconception about Singapore property investment?
So I think the biggest misconception, in my opinion, is that as long as you close your eyes, you just throw and buy any private property in Singapore, you'll make money. In a way, it's not wrong, because in Singapore, over a very long period of time, definitely property prices will move up because of natural inflation. But actually, if you knew there are people who focus on wrong attributes like freehold and just the address of a property, and then they end up not seeing a lot of profit even after 8 to 10 years. So this is where knowing the right characteristics that are truly important to selecting profitable properties. So make sure we don't waste our hard-earned savings and investment buying into myths or hearsays about property. So speak to one that really has experience and can prove with data, facts and figures.
What are 3 good reasons to invest in property early?
So I've been following 3 principles when investing in property. First is buy as young as you can, buy as big as you can, and buy as best asset class of property as you can. So I'm going to focus on why we want to buy as young as we can. So the magic age to buy is always before 35 years old. Why? Because you can get the maximum loan tenure of 30 years and also be able to get a 75% loan to leverage with the bank. Anything older, the loan tenure will get shorter and shorter, and that means your monthly installments will get higher. It could feel a little bit more unaffordable, or you have to fork out more down payment. Secondly, when you start young, you actually have more 5-year property cycles to ride or to play with. So if you start at 30 years old, then you can buy and sell 2 cycles and end up being upgraded to a bigger, nicer condo by 40 years old. And because the real estate has helped you build capital in your portfolio. Lastly, if you pick the wrong property, then time in the market is more important than timing the market. It means you actually have more time to hold on to the property and to wait for the tide to turn. Then you can sell for a profit when the market moves up. So buying younger means you have lower risk, even if you make a mistake in choosing the property. So that's why I specialize in picking profitable properties for my clients.
Why do you think OCR and RCR can profit more than CCR in the current market?
So this one also needs a little bit of time to explain why, because it's very interesting, because people always feel that they need to buy Orchard Road or Marina Bay to earn big profits. But the past year's performance actually has shown us otherwise, and it's also linked to my 8 profit pillar checklist. So where is more likely that you can find schools, MRT, amenities like food center, coffee shops, bus stops near a condo? It's most likely always in the heartlands. So following the government strategy of decentralization, it is to create workspaces and business hubs in the rest of Singapore, which is the north, south, east and west. So even international schools, we see that they are being moved out of the central region to the extreme ends of Singapore. And that's where well-paid expats are also starting to live in, and they are renting in the OCRs and the RCRs. So another thing to note is that, have you seen the crowd in a Heartland Mall versus Orchard Road on a weekend? So which is more crowded? Actually, now we see Heartland malls are extremely crowded on the weekends. And this is also part of the decentralization plan. 15 years ago, anyone who needed to have a nice coffee or to buy nice clothes, to have good food, we need to go to town to do it. But right now, we just need to go Tampines Mall, or Tampines Mall, Westgate, Waterway Point in Punggol, because there's Uniqlo, there's Starbucks. You can watch the latest movies there, and you can buy Japanese groceries from Don Don Donki. So why do we even need to go down to Orchard Road or to downtown to find the same thing? So the only thing that downtown has is your Louis Vuitton, Chanel, Gucci. But other than that, everything is still found in your own HDB town. The last thing I want to highlight is, which is equally important, is OCR and RCR also means you have access to the HDB upgrader market. So when you're close opposed to the clusters of HDB or BTOs, that means you have a lot of amenities that the HDB will build for the residents. And when these owners reach their MOP, their minimum occupancy period, then they will tend to sell, they cash out for profit, and they look to buy back the same area where they are very used to, that they already experienced the convenience of the Heartland Mall, of the school that their children go to, and highly likely the rest of the family support is also in the same area. So naturally, they will pick up the best condo in that area, and that's where they will upgrade to and pay a premium for. So that is why I feel OCR and RCR will make a bigger profit than CCR.
In your opinion, how is the 2025 outlook for property? Is it up or is it down?
I think 2025 is going to be a very exciting time for property. We see a lot of new launches coming up in good locations, whether it's HDB or private property. And when this happens, it always stirs up the demand in the market. So even if these people don't buy that particular new launch, then they will look elsewhere. This demand spills over to resale or other new launches in the same area, and it contributes to the buying and selling volume. So when the volume increases, then naturally the price will also move up a little bit. Second is that we see optimistic news for the Singapore economy. I think companies are reporting growth, there's fewer layoffs, and inflation is also coming down. So the cost of operating is going to be lower. Third is with all this optimism, we see that en bloc activity is also starting to happen and to transact, or billions of dollars of deals have been transacted already. And this means the developers are confident in buying up and reselling them as a new launch. So what will happen to the residents who have been displaced by this en bloc condo? So at least $800 million will go back into the market for them to look for replacement homes in 2025, and this will create a lot of demand. Last but not least, the interest rates are coming down as we read. Already it's below 2.5 right now, and which is a big discount compared to the 4% in the last 2 years. So this means as a buyer, you'll be paying lower monthly installments, and means you will have a tendency of buying maybe a bigger property, a better valued property. And with all these indicators, I think we can see that the market is heading upwards.
If somebody came to you with a $1 to $3 million budget and price range, what would you direct them to buy and where and why?
Okay, so my process is always to really find out what their real needs and wants are. So I'll guide them to the principle of buying as big as they can. So if they can buy a 2-bedroom in the RCR, I would recommend them going for a 3-bedroom in the OCR. So 2 reasons why. The 3-bedroom is the most resilient unit type of property because they will always attract upgraders from the 2 bedrooms, and the right sizes that come from a landed or a bigger condo after retirement. So this type will always have a demand whether it's up or down market. Secondly, the bigger the square feet, the faster the capital appreciation when it comes to the per square foot increase. Because 1,000 square feet, you times a $100 PSF increase is 100 over 1,000. A 2-bedroom, let's say 650 square feet, the increase will only be 65,000 appreciation. So that's like a 50% difference in appreciation if you buy a bigger unit.
And if somebody came with you with a 3 to 5 million price range, where would you suggest them to buy and what would you suggest them to buy?
So again, I would really understand their real needs, because for this wide range, we can actually buy a large 4-bedroom, let's say in East Coast. Then you can even buy a decent terrace house in Thomson or Seletar. These are good areas in terms of growth and demand, but I would lean towards owning land in Singapore because we all know that pure freehold landed homes will only gain in value because they will just get more rare, and we are in a very land scarce country. The longer you hold, the more valuable it will become, and I would guide them to buy let's say a $4.5 million house and then put 500,000 into just refurbishing it, and then you can enjoy it for a long time and wait for the price to appreciate.
Tell us more about what you think about boutique condos.
So boutique condos are small developments that are usually on a small size of land, and the number of units is usually between maybe below 50, below 100. Most of them have attributes that seem very good, like freehold, or they're within a good district, like District 15 East Coast or District 11 Novena. But what's the downside is because they're so small, the facilities that they have are also few and all small as well. So like you have a small swimming pool, a gym that is maybe like a storeroom size. There's no function room, and most of them don't come with 24/7 security as well. So it's not really appealing to upgraders who want to buy for their family to enjoy the facilities. And even for renters, they will rather go for a big condo with all the facilities for the same amount of rent. And they don't really bother about whether it's freehold or 99 years. So with that, the boutique condos are usually easy to buy in, but they're very hard to sell off to make a good profit to upgrade to something else. So this is one of my 8 profit pillars to say that number of units is very important. So I rarely recommend boutique condos to my clients.
Tell us why you think mega developments like the Emerald of Katong are the most profitable type of condos.
So large condo developments like Emerald of Katong, they have at least 700 to 800 units. And these will often come with tons of exciting facilities. They have many pools, they have tennis courts, big function rooms, gyms, and a lot of barbecue pits and lounges for the residents to enjoy. And one good thing is that while there's many facilities to enjoy, the maintenance fees are also much lower if you compare to mid-size or small developments. For example, the Treasure at Tampines, they started from $200 per month compared to the usual $400 to $500 per month on a regular new condo with facilities as well. So there's more units to share the cost. The next reason is large transactional volume. So large transactional volume is every month you will see at least 4 to 5 units that are bought and sold. And this gives price growth support because every time a unit is sold, the next seller who comes in the market, will probably ask for a little bit higher. And because there's volume in the demand, it will garner more viewings. It will highly likely to sell faster and higher in a good market. So just giving an example, Treasure at Tampines, 2,000 over units, the price growth in the last 6 years is about 28%. Whereas Alps, which is also in Tampines, it only enjoyed 18% in the same period. So we see the same trend for many mega developments, large developments like Sterling, Residences, Park Esta, and Jadescape.
As an investor, should I focus on rental or capital appreciation?
So my short answer is that if you're younger, focus on capital appreciation. So if you're between 20s to early 40s, then we focus on good new projects that can appreciate in the next 3 to 5 years so that you can have another opportunity to roll over to a bigger property. And because of age, you can leverage on the maximum bank loan and you have a longer loan tenure up to 30 years so that your installments will be more manageable until you sell for a profit. For older investors, we focus on rental yield because we want to focus on lower risk, steady growth, and we choose a safer, more defensive property to preserve the wealth and the capital of the client. And yeah, because they don't need to sell that soon as well. So it's always coming down to understanding what our client really needs and their investment horizon.
So is freehold better than 99 years and why?
This is an age-old question. My point of view is that what is the purpose of the client focusing on the tenure? Is it really for legacy planning or prestige? And does this really equate to profitability? So the more important attributes that we want to focus are where is this freehold project in? How large the land is? What are the facilities? And how is the layout of the unit itself? So we can see an example in the Tanjong Rhu area. Many of them are 20 to 25 years old. And if we put the freehold and the 99-year project side by side, exactly same age, both will rise equally. In fact, some examples show that the 99 years one outpaces the appreciation than the freehold one in the first 10 to 15 years. Why? Because the entry price is more important. 99 years is usually 10 to 20% cheaper, which means more masses can buy in easily and take over from the old owner. Of course, when it starts aging, then maybe after 20 over years, then both properties will become tired looking. Then the 99-year property will have an obvious disparity in the lease remaining, and the value of the freehold property will actually pick up and grow further. So it really depends when you enter, but for the first 10 to 15 years, the 99-year lease property will grow faster. So one more thing is that freehold is good, but how long you want to hold it. For wealth preservation, it's also wise to cash out when you have the appreciation and then put it back into a younger property that can be passed down to your other generation as well. So we need to understand the need of this freehold status.
What are the 8 criterias in your 8 profit pillar checklist?
So my group and I, we have come up with these 8 profit pillars, which are 8 characteristics or attributes that a property needs to have that will highly likely be a profitable property to own. What are they? The distance to MRT, reputable schools, actual layout of the unit, the floor plan, the amenities nearby, the connectivity, the future transformation, the rentability, and the number of units. So the more pillars that you have, it will have a higher chance that you'll be able to sell for a good profit in the future.
Tell us why MRT is part of your 8-pillar checklist.
So in Singapore, if you don't have a car, you will rely a lot on MRT. And the target is 8 in 10 households will be up to 10-minute walk to a train station by 2030. So naturally, you want to live near the main transport around Singapore, and the distance to MRT plays a very big part in the property price and the demand. So the more convenient it is, then the easier for people to get home from work. They have a save time, in turn save effort, and that to them is saving money as well. So that's where they don't mind paying a premium next to a MRT, a condo next to a MRT compared to one that is a 15-minute walk away. And this will also play a part in the high rentability. The tenant's first choice is always to be near MRT, and when the rental is strong, then it's a good defensive property if the market fluctuates.
Why is a layout one of the 8 important criterias in your 8 profit pillar checklist?
It's very important to compare layouts and floor plan because for the same amount of square footage that you buy, let's say is 700 square feet, is there a lot of space that goes into the corridor, into the balcony, or to the walkway? So for example, a 2-bedroom with a dumbbell layout, it will feel more spacious in the living and dining room because there's no wastage compared to the normal L-shaped classic layout, because 10 to 20 square feet goes into the walkway or the corridor to the bedrooms. Another reason to compare, let's say for a 3-bedroom, the kind of profile that you will sell in your exit strategy. Because for 3 bedrooms, most likely they are families and they would enjoy cooking almost every day. So does this layout have an enclosed kitchen or an open kitchen? So traditionally, if you cook every day, then you would want an enclosed kitchen because you don't want the fumes going out, you don't want the smell going out into the bedrooms, or the oil will splatter around the house. So a 3-bedroom with enclosed kitchen will be more likely in demand and have a higher profitability if it's compared to a 3-bedroom with an open concept kitchen. So layout is very, very important.
Why are amenities and connectivity important criteria in your 8 profit pillar checklist?
So these are 2 very important points because there are some properties that are really not near the MRT. Does it mean you shouldn't buy it? So Normanton Park is one example. It's not near an MRT. Even in the future, it's not going to be near the MRT. But what it has a bus stop right outside the condo that can bring them to MRT stations, the malls, all within 10 to 12 minutes. So some condos are also next to a HDB estate, which is not near an MRT station, but it has coffee shops, it has clinics, it has supermarkets and food center. So everything you need is just next to you. And with all this, the distance to the MRT is not so important already. So it will still remain quite in demand. And because it's convenient and it will attract tenants and buyers.
Why are reputable schools one of the 8 important criteria in your 8 profit pillar checklist?
In Singapore, families really put priority on having children go into a good school or an elite school. So the 1 km to an elite school will bring demand for own stay families and even local families who want to rent just for the 1 km the 1 km eligibility. And because all these schools, they will always be oversubscribed every year. So we can actually see a difference in price and demand if a certain project has 2 blocks that are different in distance. One block is in the 1 km, another block is not. And then the 1 km block will attract a better demand and higher premium when it comes to buyers or renters looking just for schools.
Why are the number of units one of the 8 important criteria in your 8 profit pillar checklist?
When comparing, say, a 100-unit versus a 500-unit condo, chances are the 100-unit condo is on a small piece of land with very few facilities. So the 500-unit condo will be on a larger land, which means there's going to be a big pool, a gym, clubhouse, play area, and all this will be more attractive to the buyers or the renters. So with better demand, it will lead to faster appreciation than the smaller condo because the buyers will compete just for the same unit on the market, and eventually the whole condo's value will be pushed up for resale, for rental, and for capital gains. Also, number of units is correlated to transactional volume. This means it's very easy to liquidate it in any market. So you don't need to slash your price if you suddenly need to just sell. You just need to put it out on the market with a realistic price and it will sell quickly.
Why is transformation growth plan one of the 8 important criterias in your 8 profit pillar checklist?
So it's very important for yourself or your agent to know how to foresee what's going to happen in the area that you're looking to buy in the near future. So you need to understand the master plan, the concept plan, and what the land next to you is going to be building into. Places like the Greater Southern Waterfront, Jurong Lake District, or even the Bayshore Estate. All these will be transforming the area. And with all of these, what will happen is that the estate will have more infrastructure, more amenities, a big mall, recreation spaces, convenience, and all this will in turn add value and demand to the projects around it. So find properties that have further growth planned for it, and then you stand to gain over a short period of time.
Why is rentability one of the 8 important criterias in your 8 profit pillar checklist?
Rentability is the ability to be able to rent out your unit in the shortest time possible. In terms of the market, usually within 1 month is quite fast. So why is this important? Because if you're buying for investment, having as little downtime between your tenants, between your leases will ensure cash flow, and you are also using other people's money from the renters to help you pay down your mortgage loan. Yeah. So when there's constant cash flow, there's no need to lower your selling price when you need to liquidate it, and especially in the downturn. So as long as you have someone renting, then you don't see the need to desperately sell off your unit. The worst case is just to continue renting and then you have income. And if your property is so rentable, it also means there's something attractive to it. Maybe the location, the facilities, or all these aspects will just draw buying demand as well. So rentability is quite correlated to sellability.
Can we predict prices by looking at government land sales bids?
One of the ways to predict future prices is by analysing the government land sale bids or en bloc purchases. And this is where the developers will get new land to build to sell new developments. So from the raw land price, we add in construction costs, marketing costs, financing, other fees, and then we can kind of estimate the break-even price. So from the break-even price, a developer will usually add 10 to 15% profit margin, and that's where we can kind of estimate what the new sale price is in the next few months. And so from there, we can foresee what the future prices will be, and an experienced agent will be able to spot opportunities, whether in resale or existing new launches on their price points. So it's also good to know that the government actually doesn't sell land to any bidder who bids a low price. We can see 3 examples this year that they have rejected 3 land bids because it's lower than their expectations. In this way, we can infer where the property prices are heading because the raw material of land itself that the government owns doesn't come cheap.
Should I keep my HDB and save up for a second property?
I think this is one of the Singaporeans' aspirations to own 2 properties or to keep the HDB and then buy a second property. What the challenge is here is that they need to save up 25% down payment, stamp duty, and because it's a second property, they pay ABSD of 20% as of now. So they have to probably save up $500,000 just for a $1 million condo. So how many of us are able to do that in a few years? And it could take 6 to 8 years to save up, but what about the market? So the property market might have moved. What you can buy today at $1 million, it could be $1.4 million in 6 years' time. And this means now you have to save $700,000. So it's like a never-ending chase. And we need to realize that HDB is not an investment, as the government says. So if we aspire to own a private property, then because private properties are growing assets, then many of us are sitting on big profits on our HDB flats. And the only way to unlock this profit is to sell them and then focus on getting a good property that will continue to appreciate while you live in, know how to restructure the ownership so you can better buy a second property with lesser amount of savings. And at the end of the day, you can sell both your private properties, set aside for retirement, and then fully pay for the last HDB flat that you just want to retire in.
With many new launches in 2025, which one are you looking forward to the most?
If there's one upcoming project that has MRT, a lot of amenities, a growing town, and it's by reputable developers who know how to design a great condo and layouts, this one checks off a lot of my 8 profit pillars, and I'm looking forward to this project called Parktown Residences. So this will be jointly developed by UOL, Singland, CapitaLand, and they are really experts in transforming estates and building iconic and attractive So you know that they are experts in transforming estates and building iconic and attractive developments. What's amazing is that this will be an integrated development, which means it's going to be sitting on top of an MRT station, a bus interchange, a hawker center, and a big mall. So you know how CapitaLand is very great with its malls. So Jewel, Ion Orchard, Tampines Mall, Westgate, they're all done by CapitaLand. So imagine living on top of a mall like that. So it's really going to be a very special and top of the town project in 2025.
What are the 3 most important things to take note of about this development?
So it's a very rare kind of property where the whole Singapore will have less than 15 such projects. So just to name a few, Bedok Residences, Woodleigh Residences, North Park Residences in Yishun, Watertown in Punggol, and even Pasir Ris 8, which is above the Pasir Ris Mall. So it's very rare to have 2 powerhouses of developers like UOL and CapitaLand join forces to create a very iconic new integrated development. So the scarcity will just make it stand out among all the condos in the same estate. Secondly, it's going to be a mega development of about 1,100 units. So this means they will have 1 bedroom all the way to 5 bedrooms that will cater to all kinds of buyers and investors. And it's also on a large piece of land, which is more than 500,000 square feet. So that's more than 9 football fields. We will definitely see full facilities in the condo and many things that the residents can enjoy. And not only they enjoy the condo facilities, but at the doorstep, there's a direct access to a shopping center, to the bus interchange, to the community center, to the hawker center for food, and of course the MRT station. So we will definitely see a lot of demand to support price appreciation. And lastly, it's in the growing town of Tampines North, which means there's a lot of BTOs coming up, and this will attract HDB upgraders who will pay a premium to live in the same town but upgrade in lifestyle and asset. So just these 3 major points, I'm very sure Parktown Residences will be a blockbuster launch in 2025.
What's the difference between mixed developments and integrated developments?
So basically, an integrated development is a mixed-use development, but a mixed-use development may not be an integrated development. So what's the main difference? We actually can see a lot of mixed developments in places like East Coast, Serangoon, Geylang. But are they profitable? Let's say Kensington Square or like Siglap V. So how do you feel when all the commercial shops downstairs are either empty or they are moneylenders or beauty salons or just tuition centers? There's no real value to the residents in those shops, and because of the location, it doesn't really attract the footfall too. An integrated development needs to have these factors. It must be having direct access to an MRT station. It must have a food center or a bus interchange. And it also must serve the main community of the estate. And lastly, it's a real mall that is managed by a good mall manager. So don't be fooled if you are buying into a mixed development with shops downstairs, and definitely you will make money. You really have to study the project for the other attributes and the characteristics.
Okay. Tell us about the story where you said no to a client and then they came back to you a couple of years later and they bought 3 properties from you.
So I remember in my early years, I had this open listing to sell, and the neighbor, Mrs. T, wanted to come and look at it. Because I knew that the seller really wanted an extremely high price, I told her in all honesty that it's not a very good buy. But she asked for my name card, she kept it, and in between we kept in touch. I would update her with market info. She would ask me my opinion for different properties, different perspectives of the market. And it happened over many, many years, so I just thought I was just giving free advice. But 7 years later, she and her family, they bought 1 property from me, and then the next year they bought another 2 with me too, because they felt that my advice and recommendation was trustable. Yeah, so till today, I'm managing their properties for the rental. I always believe genuinely help others. It is unintentional sowing of seeds, but in the long run, you actually see the fruits of your labor. So just keep going and don't stop helping.
Thank you so much for sharing everything that you've shared with us today, Andrew. I've learned a lot from this conversation. And this was episode 65 with Andrew Phee, award-winning realtor at ERA with 15 years of experience. Thank you so much, Andrew.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.
Very happy to be here.